YouTube, what is good? We are back for another episode of Marv's Room. And I wanted to make this video today about and talk to you guys about things that I actually did right on my law of attraction journey, on my manifesting a specific person journey. I made a video already about things that I did wrong. And if I could think of anything else, I will make a part two to that video. But I wanted to talk to you guys about the things that I actually did right, because I did do quite a few things right on my law of attraction journey. And so something that I did right was, to start off, was I sought help. I sought healing. I didn't turn to drugs. I didn't turn to, other stuff like that, because when people go through a tough breakup or whatever the case may be, or lose a loved one, a lot of times people, they turn to external sources, and that's how they deal with their pain, whether it's drugs, addictions and eating, or whatever the case may be. There's a myriad of things that people, they turn and they look towards in order to heal themselves. They're looking for healing, they're looking for love, but they're looking in the wrong places. So something I did smart was I seeked help. I seeked healing. My therapy was reading and learning about this stuff, learning about relationships, learning how I could avoid this mistake again in my life, how to change, how to help people change. And basically that whole journey ended up, breeding, my channel, my YouTube channel. So me seeking therapy through self-help books and law of attraction and watching videos and seminars and stuff like that, that was one of the smartest things that I could have ever did on this journey. Now, another thing that I did correctly in my law of attraction, in my manifesting a specific person back, was I wasn't a texter. I wasn't an over texter. I wasn't a contactor. You know how when people break up with someone and you still want to text them, and you still do end up texting them, and you checking their social media pages, and you're doing all that type of stuff. I was fortunate enough, I never really did it. I never did any of that. You know what I'm saying? I never really did any of that. If I did, I might have did it once in the beginning, but I wasn't like, oh, let me text this person, every 3 months or every 4 months, or let me check this person's social media page. I never checked my specific person's social media page. No, that's a lie, actually. I did one time, but that was like maybe 2 years after the fact, I think it was. So I was never obsessive, I guess I should say. I was never obsessing over, checking their page or trying to text them or trying to contact them, after 90 days or this and that, you know what I mean? I never made that mistake, and I think that's a huge mistake so many people make, is they try to over contact after the fact. Your SP tells you, leave me alone, don't contact me no more, and you're still trying to contact them, and you're pushing them away. You don't understand that you're pushing them away. You're still trying to get, instead of staying the course, staying focused on you, falling in love with yourself, and doing the principles that you're learning about on this channel and other channels. You still try to get, and what you're ending up doing is you're pushing that person away. So me personally, that's not something I had a problem with at all, really. Like I said, if I did it out of 100%, I was probably at a 1% with that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that, like, again, I did that correctly. So guys, don't do that. You know what I mean? Be like me. Be like Marv. Wanna be like Marv. I wanna be like Marv. Yeah. So next was listen and apply. I listened and applied. Now, for those that watch one of my other videos, the mistake that I made about not applying was I didn't apply soon enough. I was becoming inundated with information, but I didn't listen to that information right away. But eventually I did listen. So listening and applying is something that I also did right, because a lot of people continue to listen month after month, year after year, and they never apply. Okay? So you got to listen, and you have to apply and do what I did, because once I applied, that's when things started to happen. Like I said, they happen quickly. And I noticed when people actually do the work, whatever it is you want to manifest, you can usually manifest it, from what I saw, what I noticed, is in a year's time or less. I feel like you can manifest it in a year's time or less, whatever it is that you want, pretty much. But you have to do the work. Whatever the topic is, whatever the situation is, whoever the teacher is, whatever they're telling you, if it resonates with you, you have to do the work. You have to. Now, Another thing that I did great was I stayed positive. I stayed positive. I I watched YouTube videos. I did whatever I could do to try to stay positive. To help me say, okay, there's hope. I have faith. And whatever you have to do to build that faith, do it. You know, I would listen to YouTube seminars, people's success stories. I never really used to listen to sad songs. I never really used to listen to sad music, sad love songs. I stayed away from any of that type of stuff because that stuff puts you in a lower vibration. It puts you in a state of missing. And as you guys know or should know by now, being in a state of missing someone is not self-love. Being in a state of missing someone is keeping you further away from them because you're acknowledging to yourself in the universe, this person's not here with me. So you have to get out of the state of missing someone. And that's something that I did was I always tried to do whatever I could to stay positive. And for the most part, I would say 90+% of the time I did. Now, I naturally am always an optimistic person, so that does help. But if you're not, I mean, there's ways to do that, you know, self-love. I mean, it's all over the internet. It's all over my page. You can check out some of my other videos on, you know, how to do that and how to go about that. Now, another thing that I did was I forgave myself and I forgave others. And I did this basically by doing the Ho'oponopono prayer, you know, saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And I did that for pretty much for myself and for others because you can't really forgive others until you forgive yourself. Just like you can't really fall in love with other people until you fall in love with yourself. You can't really give your all to another person if you're not giving your all to yourself. So something else right that I did was I forgave myself and I fell in love with myself. And that allowed me to forgive other people and to fall in love with other people. And I'm telling you, when you do this step, it becomes so much easier to forgive people when they hurt you or when they do wrong because you start to understand that you are whole, you are already, you know, worthy, et cetera, et cetera. And when bad things happen, it kind of like just brushes off your shoulder because you are loved. You know, like, oh, this person is just, you know, whatever they may be doing, whether it's a SP or, you know, a friend or a family member, like you really start to understand and get and see, you know, why self-love is, et cetera, is so important and why forgiveness, et cetera, is so important. So that was also one of the things that I did, you know, right, as far as on my specific person journey. Now, something else that I did right was it just slipped my mind. Oh, I kept what I was doing to myself. I didn't allow, you know, the naysayers to get to me like so many people do. They let their family members and friends' opinions get to them. And understand this, your friends and family members, they don't know what we know about law of attraction. They don't study this stuff the way we know. You know, so this stuff sounds foreign to them. They're going off of worldly, carnal knowledge, mundane knowledge, and they have no idea what they're talking about. And they're going to be wrong pretty much 90% of the time. You know what I'm saying? So you got to understand, like, that's something that I did right was I kept it to myself. I didn't tell nobody really what I was doing, you know? So I didn't have any distractions. I didn't have any doubts, etc., that were able to get to me because, like I said, I kept it to myself. And the importance of that, the power of that, I could not stress to you enough. Unless you have people that are on the same wave with you, that's a different story. But when you don't have people on the same wave as you, like I didn't have people on the same wave with me. So I just wanted to keep that stuff to myself. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I wanted to tell you guys about this part, because this is another huge crucial piece for the journey. Now, another thing that I did right was I focused on myself. I focused on me. I wasn't stuck thinking about, oh, I wonder what my SP's doing. I wonder if, you know, she's doing this or doing that. Like, I didn't care about any of that. I didn't focus on that. I focused on me. I started a real estate business around the time, you know, the breakup had happened, and I focused on building that. And that was my main priority. That was my main focus. And I was never waiting around. Like I said in one of my other videos, people think that I'm waiting around for like 5 years for my SP to come back. And no, that was never the case. I focused on me. I did my own thing. And I grew as a person, you know. And then I was learning those entire like 3 or 4 years I was learning. And then, like I said, on that 4th or 5th year, is when I actually started applying. That's when I actually started getting results. You know what I'm saying? So again, like I said, I focused on myself, and I didn't worry about what my SP was doing, because so many times that's what we do. We were obsessive over our SP. Like, oh, I wonder what they're doing. I wonder if they're going out on the weekend. I wonder if they're talking to this person. I wonder if they're talking to that person. I wonder if blah, 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 blah. I wonder if they're doing this. I wonder if they're doing this. I wonder if they're doing that. I wonder if, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, stop thinking about that stuff. Stop thinking about that stuff. Another thing that I did right was I let go of the how, and I let go of the when. I didn't worry about how it was going to happen. I didn't worry about when it was going to happen. I just knew that it was going to happen. I knew, you know, and that's a big piece that I put in another video, is letting go of the how and the when. The universe knows ways and methods that we will never even think of. It's way smarter than us. That's where we get our inspiration from. That's where we get our source from. Everything is from the universe. So don't question the universe. Don't think that your how and your way is better than the universe's way, because it's not. And whenever you get in the universe's way, you usually end up messing it up. You mess up something that could have been good. You mess up something that the universe had ready for you, but you just messed it up because you weren't patient enough. You couldn't wait. You know what I'm saying? So that was something that I did. I stayed consistent. I stayed consistent also. I stayed consistent with what I was learning. I stayed consistent with doing the work, whether it was self-love, whether it was you know, exercise or visualization, you know, any of that type of stuff. Whatever it was, I stayed the course. I stayed consistent. I stayed persistent with self-love, with Ho'oponopono, with forgiving myself, with constantly checking my mind, checking my energy to see where I was at, or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Consistency is key. Consistency is key. Success happens because you were consistent over a period of time at doing something in smaller increments. That's when success comes. And that's when you attract your SP, that's when you attract whatever the case may be, is because you are consistently doing something over a period of time. And it's kind of like, you know, you're building steps. Each one of those steps is getting you to the top of that mountain. You know what I'm saying? So, and that can only happen with, you know, persistence. You can't build your steps and then stop right here and then think like, oh yeah, you're just gonna go to the mountaintop. That's not the case. That never happens. You know what I mean? So all of these steps that I did, I wanted to share with you, you know, and these are the steps that I did to be able to eventually, you know, help me manifest a specific person back, you know, and like I said in some of my other videos, there's obviously, you know, some of these steps are more important than others, particularly self-love, you know, and forgiving the past and stuff like that. But I want you to know, like I said, everything's a stepping stone, man. You need to do these things. You can't skip steps, because if you do, eventually it's going to be like putting icing on a rotten cake, and we all know how that turns out. It looks good on the outside, but you're going to end up getting sick. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to jump in here real quick, talk to you guys, let you guys know exactly the things that I did right, some of the things I did right. If I can think of anything else that I did right, I will be sure to make a part 2 to this video. Just like if I can remember anything else that I did bad that I think is imperative, and I say, well, I got to share this with everyone so they don't make this mistake, then I will make another video about, you know, some of the things that I might have done bad as well. All right, guys, appreciate you once again. Thank you for joining me on Marvin's Room. I'll see you next time. We out.